want to create a 2D drawing of the assembly, and typically with that we would do a parts list. So ideally we want to look at creating an exploded view of this so that you can see each of the parts individually. So if we go to the Tools menu and we go to ERA, ERA stands for Explode, Render and Animate. That gives me the tools that I want to work with. So we can do an auto explode that bases the explosion on a on the relationships that have been created and the order in which they were created. So we can just sort of right mouse click and go, and you can sort of see that it has exploded, but not probably in the order that we would want to do. So let's unexplode that, and we can do a manual explode in this case. So we've got 4 parts here, and we want to explode them in the upward direction. And first I will explode the pin, accept that, and then you need to choose a part on which to explode from, and a face and direction. You can specify a distance and then do a right mouse click to accept and finish. So that's the first part. So the order in which we select these is the order in which they will explode. So I can do all 4 in one go. So we want that one, hold still, right mouse click and select the holder top, and then the stapler top as well. So we'll accept those. We want to explode from here, pick a face on which to explode and a direction. I can choose whether I want to move components as a unit, so everything together, or I can spread the components evenly, which is what I'm going to do in this case, and go OK. And I'll set maybe a distance of 40 mil in this case. And you can see that we have our exploded view now, which looks reasonable. To be able to use that in the draft file, we need to create a exploded view configuration. So if we click in here, we've got the standard one, which is the main assembly. We can create a new one, and we'll call this purely explode. Go OK and close. And then we close out of the explode, render and animate. We come back to our assembly, and we need to save this before we can move on. So now that we have saved this, we can go and drawing of active model like we did before. Choose the draft template, and we've got the option in here. So if we go to the drawing view wizard, we can change our option in here to explode, go OK, and then we can place that on the drawing. So once we have done that, we will go to a parts list, choose the drawing view that we have, and we can then go into properties, and in here you have the option of choosing which columns you want to display. So we can have an item number, which is generated, a file name with no extension, author, quantity. I'm not interested in that, so we'll delete that one, and we'll leave it at that for the moment. Go OK, and we can choose where we want to place that. We'll have the balloons, which are tied to the envelope. So if we pick up on here and drag this out, you can see that they are all linked to that envelope, and we can change it. So we've defined these with a part number, item number, and a quantity, and that can be changed as well. And you can see that we've got the parts list over here. We can double click on this if we want to, and we can adjust sizes on here if we wish. And what we might also want to do is click on the drawing view and go to shading options, shaded with edges, and then update views to get a clearer image. So at this stage you might decide that the information here, the properties, is not enough. So we can go into data management and go to the property manager. So we just need to save the file first. So with the property manager, we can go in and change any of the properties for all of the part files. So for example, we could set a revision number as 1. We can then copy that and then go through and paste it back into the rest of the fields. And same with the project name, so we could go Stapler and do the same with that. So document number, we've got a number of different parts, so we can have the stapler assembly, and then we can go through and stapler part 1 and go through and label each one of these parts. So once you've done that, you can then go and say OK on that. Then we can go back into the properties on the parts list, and we can find in here, we can go with the, we can add in a document number, we can add in a revision, and then we can just move that one down so that when we come back in here, you'll see that we have our full assembly. And we can adjust the size, as you can see. Finally, I just want to show some of the extra control that you have in Draft. So we'll add an extra sheet. If I click on, double click on here, I can change the background sheet to A3, and that changes the sheet size to match. So I can go back into the view wizard. In here, you'll see a list of all the parts within the assembly. So I could choose just one and detail that. I'm going to stick with the whole assembly and go OK. I want to change my view orientation to front and place that drawing view. I could go on and place other views as well, but I will leave it at this stage. So if I go into properties, and in here, I maybe want to change the display of this one so I can see the parts underneath a bit more clearly. So I can display as reference, and that just sort of goes out the other outside of it. So also if I go to here, I can then turn off the hidden edge style as well, and that just gives me a much clearer view. So if we go update views, you'll see that we have that sort of ghosted in to show you where it is. And if I go to principal view and place another view of that, you'll see that the display of that part has carried across to the new view as well. So a lot of control in how you've got your assemblies shown in the Draft environment.